Good evening, everybody. KT here with Wise Images Photography. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I wanted to say happy Earth Day to you. I hope that you guys are enjoying today and enjoying the Earth. You know, I hope you actually enjoy the Earth every single day. But I know that today we do take note that it is Happy Earth Day. Anyways, needless to say, if you like nature photography and going on fun-filled adventures, think about subscribing to the channel. Today, what we are going to go ahead and go over are 4 things that I feel will help you to speed up your process when you're working in Lightroom. So let's get going. All right, so ironically enough, even though it is Earth Day, we are actually going to go ahead and use a photo from one of my photo sessions when I was photographing a senior. So here we go. We have our surfer doing some surfing right now. This was actually a very fun photo shoot to do because it's always awesome when I get to photograph children that are like doing what they really love to do, and then it's like they're showing off their skill, and it's a lot of fun. But anyways, today the very first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and deal with the panel on the far right hand side. When I first started doing Lightroom, I was constantly, if you look over here at the panel, it's like all these are open, and I was like, oh, it used to annoy me to death. It was like, oh my goodness, this drives me nuts. So I would click on them, right? And I'd click on them and that would close them up. And then the thing was, is every time I would try to work through the panel, it was like I'd have to open this one up and okay, I'm done with this one. So now I'm going to go ahead and close it. Now I'm going to go to the lens blur or whatever, you know, and then I'm going to close it up when I'm done with it. And then I'm, you know, going to close this one, and then I'm going to move over here and close this one and then open this one. And it just took forever to get through this. Then I figured out that you could go ahead and right click here, and if you hit what we call solo mode, it actually goes ahead and cleans that all up, so that way, watch this, when I hit the basic tab, boom, the basic tab opens up and ta-da! All the rest of the panels are closed, which I love, which is fantastic. All right, now guess what? You can also do this when you're in your masking tools as well. So if you notice here, they are all closed up. I have them in solo mode. I'm going to put them in expand mode real fast. It's going to go ahead and open all of these up. So now you're in that same scenario where you have to close them up individually. And then if you want to get back to them, you would have to go ahead and re-click on the triangle. It opens it back up, and then when I'm done with it, I would close it. If you want to make it nice and neat, go ahead and go right click, solo mode, and ta-da, it's only going to open up one panel at a time. And when you click on it, it opens up that panel that you want to work with when you're working on the masks. Now, when you're in masks, you have to click on each one individually. Now let me show you what happens when you are not working in masks and you are actually just in your general mode here on your global arrangements, okay? Or your global adjustments. If you hit Control 1, it takes you to the very first panel. My apologies, there we go. It closed it and then I had to reopen it. Control 2 takes you to the tone curve. Control 3 would take you to the color mixer. And the reason why I like using this control feature is because, like, I know, for example, Control 9 will take me right to vignetting. So if you get all these numbers memorized, you can just go to the different ones. Like Control 7 was the transform, you know. Control 8 is going to go ahead and take you to lens blur. So you can just go Control whatever number, and then it will take you to the different panels. This only works in global, not isolated like the masking, but it is a cool little feature because it speeds up your process a little bit. All right, now the next tool that I want to go over is how to remove dust spots. If you come up to the top, you will see your remove tool. You can hit Q to also pull this up as well. The next thing you are going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and pick the Band-Aid, which is the heal tool, instead of the remove or the clone stamp. I'm going to hit clear the Band-Aid. Now, you notice that you do have your wonderful, as soon as it decides to pop up, there is my wonderful cursor and my brush. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can go ahead and make your brush bigger. You can go ahead and scroll on your mouse, and that will make your brush bigger, or you can make it smaller. Another way you can do this is you can go ahead and come over here to the far right, and you see where it says size and feather, and you can go to the right. That will make your brush bigger. You can go smaller, and to the left, and that makes your brush smaller. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just so you guys can see it. And then if you look at feather, if I go to the left, it closes down the feather, giving me a really hard edge. And if I go to the right, it feathers more, so you get a little bit of a fall off, and that looks, to me, that looks a little bit better. When it comes to spots, I'm normally right around 50-ish or so. And I'm gonna go ahead and make this brush smaller simply because I want to make sure that I'm the size of these little spots. Now, I'm gonna zoom in real quick just so you guys can see. You have all these water spots. So these are not the spots that I want to remove, right? I want to remove dust spots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on where it says visualize spots. Now, if you notice, man, these bubbles, well, I don't want to take away the water, right? I want to leave the water in the shot. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for spots up here on the top. Now, it doesn't look like I really have any spots, does it? However, if I go ahead and click on this little caret or this little upside down triangle, and I start moving my slider to the right, you're going to notice that spots start to show up on the top edge of this photograph. And that is what I'm going to remove. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn this off so that I can zoom in on this spot right here, just so that you guys can see it, okay? All right. Now that I'm zoomed in where that spot was, you can see it, it's right here. I'm gonna click on visualize spot so that you can see what it looks like with the mask on. Now that we have located this particular spot, I'm gonna go ahead and make my brush just a little bit bigger. Remember, I'm clicked on the Band-Aid. I'm gonna go ahead and click on it, and what's gonna happen is it's going to go ahead and do its magic. My computer is running a little bit hot, so it is kind of giving me a little bit of issues here, but you can tell that now the spot is gone. I'm gonna go ahead and click off visualize spots so that you guys can see. I'm gonna click Q because I'm gonna take away that brush, and you can tell that the spot is now gone. And then basically what you guys would do is when you're working with this tool, you would go ahead and click on it, click on your visualize spots. When it pulls up, you would just go ahead and go around, and all you have to do is click on each one of these spots, and that will take away all of your dust spots. So that will help you guys out with your dust spots. All right, now let's go into our next tool. And by the way, if you guys are finding this information useful, please make sure that you guys give it a thumbs up. The next bit that we're gonna go over is we're gonna go over how to go ahead and apply sharpening to the areas that we wanted to sharpen. Now, one of the things when we are photographing wildlife, a lot of times we have very high ISOs. And so with that being said, when you have higher ISOs, you get more grain in your image, you get more noise in your image. And when you sharpen an image, it shows that noise even more. And so you want to make sure that you're sharpening your subject and not your background. And that's why you want to go ahead and use this next tool. Now, in this particular image, I am shooting at an ISO of a 500. I was in kind of a controlled environment, so to speak. I knew where the sun was. I knew my subject wasn't going to jump over here all of a sudden, like, you know, with a bird or something. So I controlled it. I was able to lower my ISOs and kind of keep that grain factor down. But like I mentioned, with us being in wildlife, that sometimes is not the case, and we shoot at higher ISOs. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take away this Q, and then that way that takes away the wonderful, you know, dust removal tools there. I'm gonna go ahead and hit detail. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just start the sharpening right now. And when I adjust this, yes, it's sharpening everything at this point, okay? It's globally sharpening everything. Now, when I want it to just sharpen something specific, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit Alt on my computer. If I have a Mac, I would hit Option, and then I'm gonna left click on this masking tab or tool or caret. I don't know what we exactly call it, but you guys get what I'm talking about. The little slider, there you go. And you notice as I start to slide, the picture and image starts to change. Now, if you notice that there are some areas that are white and some areas that are black. The black areas are the images that are not getting sharpened, but everywhere where it is white, that is where the sharpening is starting to happen. Now remember, we said we want the background to be not sharpened, and we want basically the edges and our subject to be sharpened. So the further I go to the right, you will see that it's starting to really isolate into the edges on our subject, and that's what we're looking for. So I'm gonna say, I would probably do it right around an 85 on this particular image, and then I just let go, and the mask has been applied. And so it's gonna be all around the edges, and there you guys go. And so it's basically going to sharpen right along those edges, and it lets the background stay kind of in neutral. And because this photograph is already shot at ISO 500 and there's not a lot of noise, I am not going to go ahead and affect anything with the luminance or whatnot. So that's what I would do to go ahead and do a quick mask to sharpen what I want to sharpen, which is the subject. Now, the next thing that I'm going to go over is basically when you look at it, I kind of went with the photograph, and that happens a lot of times. We don't shoot completely horizontal when we're out in the field. Something happens and we don't. Now, there's an easy way to fix it. Go ahead and hit R on your computer if you have a PC. And over here on the far right, you're gonna have what we call the straightening tool. You're gonna go ahead and click on that straightening tool, and you're gonna go left click right. I always try to find some kind of horizon, and that's what kind of helps me figure out which way to go. You can go all the way across, you can go about halfway, and it works just about the same. So basically you run across where the horizon is, and then when you undo the mouse, it straightens that photograph out, and boom, now it doesn't mess with somebody's eye because the horizon is straight. So whenever you kind of tilt sideways, it kind of messes with the brain for a little bit. So when it goes like this, it's like, yay, it's great. Oh, you know, so it was a little off. So we wanted to make sure that we went ahead and straightened it up. Now, I will just kind of note that I kind of chopped her hand off. You know, normally you don't want to do that. There's certain spots where you want to do the chop, but that wasn't a good spot to chop. But anyways, that was just my little quick critique on that particular photo. Anyways, I hope that you guys found this useful. And if you like learning about nature photography and going off some fun field adventures, think about subscribing to the channel. Definitely would love to have you on board. Let me know which tip you found the most useful for you guys. And remember that you are awesome. I want you guys to have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you later, alligator. So let me know which